he's coming up the steps at me, and again, my instinct is, maybe kick this guy in the face.
I mean, that.
I'm like 5 steps up, and he's down there, but I'm like, no, it's a new day.
It's been an interesting time since the election. The way Trump, especially, is filling out his team. A few of his choices so far I like. Some other selections I feel are political suicide. They give me the same gut feelings that I had when he filled out his last cabinet in 2016, and even months ago when he started bringing in old adversaries onto the campaign, haters and traitors back into the fold, and it made me think of Julius Caesar and his fate. His betrayal on March 15th, was it 44 BC? It really changed everything in the course of Roman history. Julius Caesar was a military general, but also a statesman who rose to incredible power in the Roman Republic. He had so much power that he was able to declare himself dictator with a life appointment, and many grew jealous of him, and they plotted against him. 3 ringleaders specifically. One of them was supposedly a very close friend named Decimus Brutus. And in fact, Julius Caesar made him his second choice for heir. The other Brutus, Marcus Brutus, had previously opposed Caesar, even fighting him and trying to kill him on the battlefield. But Caesar, trying to play nice, later pardoned him and even promoted him. So with around 60 other traitors, they cornered Julius Caesar in Rome's Senate house, and they stabbed him around 23 times. Only one killed him. Only one stab killed him, the one to his chest. Shakespeare highlights the degree of betrayal for his historical play, Julius Caesar. And with Julius Caesar saying "et tu, Brutus," it was meaning, the meaning for that was "and you, Brutus," towards Marcus Brutus, highlighting that he didn't expect to be fucked over by someone he had forgiven and felt was a friend. These guys, though, were such little bitches that they didn't even know how to handle knives. Several of them stabbed themselves as they were trying to assassinate him. And these rat traitors were later, and they didn't expect this, were condemned by the public with outrage for what they did. So they had to flee the city. His death really was the beginning of the end for the Republic, and it's what really led to the first emperor of Rome. The story of Julius Caesar must serve as a lesson for Donald Trump. When he was opposed in 2016, he later brought many of these jackals into his circle, and he was stabbed in the back because of it. And it seems he's doing things the same way this time around. That's how it appears. And if he continues to fill his inner circle with these kinds of enemies, snakes in the grass, previous enemies, and even never Trump haters, he is destined to be stabbed one final time. And not by just one Brutus of our modern time, but multiple, and he will only have himself to blame because he didn't listen to people like us. And I don't even know if anyone else has preached this to him. Maybe it's just he should have just listened to people that are in this room. And to his enemies who have wanted him dead for a long, long time now, they better be careful for what they wish for. And one great example I know, because you voiced it, Kim, is your hatred for Marco Rubio.
Hate's a strong word, but this guy is just despicable. Like when I think about how he handled 2016, he broke character of his, Mr. Professional politician, well-spoken at a rally, and suddenly he turned into like the snap queen gay guy where he's like, and I hear Donald Trump has small hands. You know what they say about a man with small hands? Something else is small too.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking like, what?
Yeah.
And I remember that Trump later on, maybe days later at a debate, he's like, and little Marco Rubio talking about my hands. Believe me, folks, there's no problem there. And I remember
that.
I remember NPR.
Remember, Doug?
Yeah.
NPR, I was listening to NPR saying, as they're clutching their pearls, we've crossed a line in American politics. Like they always projected on Trump, and it was like, hello, this guy, Marco Rubio, is the one that can't keep talk about Trump's member out of his mouth. He's the one that's got to go there.
As he's sucking down
water bottles
one after the other, and he's got dry mouth syndrome. I remember that.
Well, you know what? He's preying on some kind of amphetamine, and there's guys that have that have been in that lifestyle or been in the clink, and they refer to amphetamine as queer juice for a reason, because it makes guys freaky. And I'm going to say this. Marco Rubio got freaky up there at his fucking rally when he starts talking about Donald Trump's package.
Yeah.
And
who the fuck does that?
Who does that?
Well, but also who fucking does that on Trump's end too? Because if somebody talks about you that way, then you bring him into the fold, you make him Secretary of State. Yeah. You fucking kidding me? I would never do something like that.
How can Trump let that go? I don't get that.
Yeah, he's already outed himself.
Well, it's the swamp. It's all dangerous business, Tony. Trump's a deal maker. He's a deal maker, and I'm thinking he had to make a deal when he took
Julius
Pence
Caesar
in.
made a deal too. Look what happened to him.
I know. I get it.
And it's already happened to Trump once.
It's a dirty business.
He's doing better. He's doing better this time around, but he still hasn't learned his lesson completely.
What's that phrase? Beware the Ides of March.
Ides of March, yeah.
The Ides of March. What is that like? Roughly, that's
March
roughly
15th.
2 months after he gets sworn in, right?
Absolutely.
So it may be 2 months is the point where they try to make their move. I think they plan to take him out. I personally think that they want to get him unalived.
Yeah, what concerns me a little bit too is he's looking really, really comfortable. I don't know. He's jovial. He's looking good. He's feeling good. He's feeling himself. I think he wants to. I think because Trump trusts people himself.
Yeah.
And I think because he likes people in general. I think he's got that kind of personality where he wants to like everybody. Everything I've heard about him, he's fun to hang out with. He's very social. He treats even the lowest level guy on a project, on a job, he treats them the same as anybody else. So I think there's almost sort of like an innocence there. It's weird. It's a weird thing to say about him, but I think there's a little bit of he's naive just a little bit, and but that's what makes him appealing too. Yeah. He's a hard ass, but he's got this kind of soft heart too. You see it all the time. So I think he doesn't really want enemies. I don't think he wants them, and I think when people come back and they gravitate towards him again, and you just compliment him one time, and it's over. The war's over.
He thinks they're sincere.
He thinks they're sincere because I think he thinks he's sincere.
He
So
seems
he
pretty
can't
sincere.
imagine other people being this. I think he's a little bit of a bullshitter, but I think he's sincere when it comes down to friendships and who he cares about. I mean, look how he takes care of his kids, his family.
Yeah, but when he's mad at somebody, he can't hide it.
He can't hide it, but I don't know if he really follows through. Like, he says that he talks a big game, but I don't know if he really follows through on the things that he says he's going to do. Hopefully he does this time.
Well,
but
he's
yeah,
surrounded.
Rubio-
He's surrounded by these people, and he just needs to remember that he won, they lost, he beat
Yep.
them out, all of them,
Yep.
and winners don't listen to losers.
Yeah, we talked about that once. I remember I loved that line.
Yeah.
Rubio too, never forget, he was one of the authors of the comprehensive immigration plan. I think was that when George Bush was in office? I don't
I
know.
think it was. Was he
Or
part
was
of
it
that group,
Obama?
the group of 8 or something?
Yeah. You remember that?
Yeah.
And he was
I
pushing.
think McCain
he
was in that.
Yeah, and he
part of
was
that.
pushing hard. He was
Yeah.
pushing hard for that. But when the media got the story out, he started receiving a lot of pushback, and he changed his tune. But that showed you what was really in his heart.
Yeah.
And when these guys show you what's in their heart, believe them.
Yeah.
Believe them.
I think that's about the time I turned on Rubio, and I just never can forget that.
I think he's obviously a smart guy,
Yeah.
but I don't think Secretary of State's a big job,
It is.
and you should have a man that projects a lot of strength. And I don't think he projects strength. I mean, he called him what? What was his
Little Marco.
little Marco? I mean, you can't have little Marco as Secretary of State running around the world representing us.
Now we've had
Find the big Marco. What?
we've had some really bad secretaries of state. I mean, we had John Kerry was Secretary of State, wasn't he, for a while?
Yeah,
Hillary was the Secretary of State.
yeah. Send the
those are
Bulldog.
not-
Send the Bulldog. I mean, he'd be perfect, right?
There you go.
By the way-
My only hope is that Trump does some rotating and adjusting and reevaluation of positions once he gets in.
By the way, when you walked in, Doug and I noticed you had something on your finger. What's going on there?
So this is I got a little fracture on my finger, and so I can't bend that digit for about another 5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
There's an incident about 10 days ago at the place, the restaurant,
Yeah.
and there was some guy that was there, some dude that was like hanging out with his family, but he had too much to drink and he had too much attitude, and I could see him from across the bar.
This
Griping.
is before he came in.
Well, the whole night, yeah, as we found out, as we did a little investigation, we found out that he was rubbing people the wrong way from the minute he
from the
pulled in the
beginning.
parking lot.
That's the night I wasn't there, right?
You weren't there, but from a distance, I see this guy griping and yelling at Doug, yelling about him, yelling at him, and that guy, he was a smart ass to me. Who does he think he is? And all this stuff, right?
Doug, the most gentlemanly guy in the world. Everybody loves him.
Civil,
everybody.
Civil, yeah.
Civil, above it all.
Yeah.
Awesome, yeah.
Very reserved.
Very reserved. A gentleman.
But then you
always.
got this guy that is acting like he's like a prima donna. He's like clutching his pearls, with his hand tattoos, right? Mr. wants the best of both worlds. He wants to be catered to and pampered, but he also wants to act like he's a tough guy.
Yeah.
And he wants to like pick on Doug and like raise his voice at Doug, about Doug, point at him. And I don't like the way his attitude, I don't like the way he talked to me. And so I had to step up and say,
Yeah, Doug, you have a big attitude, man. Good.
What did I do?
we're all here. We're
Yeah.
all looking out for each other,
That's
right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to let this guy get away with that. So I just start
Fuck yeah.
talking to him. I go, no, talk to me. And he's like, well, he said, and he didn't want to talk to me. Like, he wanted to talk, he kept pointing at Doug.
And he was like maybe 30s.
I'd
Probably,
place
yeah.
him 28 to 32, but
How tall do you think he was?
I would say he's like anywhere from 5'11 to 6'1".
How much do you think he
Something
weighed?
like that.
He kind of was like a skater kind of guy, I think, but, older. So, I mean, like one of those jackass kind of guys. But I would say he was probably like 195 pounds or maybe
Yeah.
maybe two
And did he come with a group?
So he was there with his mom and dad,
Uh-huh.
and he had a friend there that had eyes that went in two different directions.
Yeah.
And he had his wife there, So I think that was it. And maybe there was one other couple. I think there were 7 of them in total.
Yeah.
So there was like the bro, his friend, his wife, the mother and father, and another couple. Yeah. So they were there.
Yeah.
They were waiting for a table. It was a pretty busy night. You know, so.
And what did you say to him, Doug?
I said, well, they
to
said,
set him
hey.
off.
Well, yeah.
Tell us what you said.
So they're sitting there.
And first of all, so people understand, you guys are just there hanging out. Like you kind of keep an eye on things for me when I'm not around.
But we don't work there.
You're like, you don't work there. You're like
we're not on the books.
You're like 2 of the guys that are just there. You know, and
but Doug said something horrible to him.
It was terrible. The guy was complaining they were waiting an hour.
Yeah.
And I said, well, we're out of here. We're leaving. And I said, well, what are you going to go someplace else and wait an hour? Why don't you, we'll have a table in a minute.
Yeah, the table was getting set up.
Yeah.
And that's what that's all he said.
That's what
so
I did.
So you're going to leave and you're going to go wait somewhere else? And then that really perturbed him or whatever. He's like, he was being a smart ass to me. How dare he talk to me like that? I don't like his attitude. Just going on and on and on, just griping. And so I tried to diffuse. I tried to talk to him, and he kept redirecting it toward Doug. And Doug's just standing there like, I don't know. What do you want from me, basically? And the guy's still yelling and pointing at him, like literally like 3 feet away, pointing and like he's calling Doug out. And so I said, well, look, I said, that's a friend of the owner's. If he heard you talking to him like that, he'd tell you to get the fuck out. And he goes, well, then I'd knock him the fuck out. And I don't know if he's talking about Doug or you, but it's just like the guy's getting louder and working himself up. So I got a bright idea. I said, how about you deal with me? How about we go?
Did you say how about if I call him and have?
Oh, I did say that. I said, you want me to call? I said, you're gonna knock out Tony Roman. And I said, I can call him. You want me to call him and have him? No. Tony and I are cool. So that's why I think he was. That's why I think he was talking about Doug.
Yeah.
So then I go, well, I got an idea. I said, let's you and me deal with this. Tony doesn't need to come down here to deal with this. Let's you and I go out the parking lot. We'll go to the neighboring parking lot and we'll handle this. Just you and me. And I'm not implying violence.
No.
I'm not even implying a fight.
No.
I'm just saying we'll go deal with it.
It just follows you. That violence just follows you around.
So let's go deal with it Italian style.
Well, let's go deal with it. We can talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk is cheap, but we can do it. I got lots of talk. So I said, let's go. And he's like, you want to go? Let's go. Yeah. And so as I'm walking, I see in the corner of my eye, he's grabbing something.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sweating him. And so we get.
Where was the family at this point?
The family's kind of in tow, like, whatever his name was. Tony.
Followed everybody outside, I think.
They all followed.
Yeah.
I pied piped them like a pied piper. I pied piped them all out of the fucking restaurant and into the parking lot so they couldn't make a scene. And ruin the ambiance.
Yeah.
We had nice ambiance going. Everybody was chill.
Yeah.
And then this guy. So we get over there to the parking lot, and I go, now we're outside. We're far away. You can yell your head off. Yell all you want. I don't care. He's like, no, you want to go? Well, you want some of me? He's like, posturing and putting his arms out to make himself look bigger and acting like he's gonna come at me. And I'm just standing there, So anyways, the guy, he's like gun shy. He's acting like he wants to fight. I'm saying, look, let's just talk. You want to yell? Yell your head off. I'm Italian. I grew up in an Italian home. I ate yelling for breakfast. It doesn't bother me. That's what I said to him. I said that. And he's like, you want to go? Let's go. You want to go? And it's like, we don't have to go. I'm glad you're out of the restaurant. Yell your head off. Get it out of your system. Go ahead. I don't care. And he's like, no, we're going to go and this and that. And his friend's like, hey, Tony, just knock him out. He's a short little shit.
His name was Tony too?
I think his name was Tony. He's a short shit. He's a short shit and this and that. And so then at some point, his family was like, no, come on, Tony. And they take him. And I'm like, all right, we're done here. And I start to walk away. And I say to his friend who had the eyes that go in 2 separate directions, I go, make sure you look both ways. And I walk off and I go back, and they're all still griping about it. And he's still yelling like that. So I go back because they kind of are meandering their way back toward the restaurant. Yeah. So I come back out to talk to him. And I said, no, come with me. And we go back over there to talk. And he's trying to headbutt me. Now, I got a headbutt always locked and loaded.
Yeah.
This neck has sprung into action many a time and thrown this
we We got to show a great video of you.
Yeah.
Okay, show it.
One of those great headbutt highlights. Go ahead.
Well, this head is sprung, this neck is sprung in action and sent this forehead into people's, depending on how tall they are. If they're tall, it hits them in the mouth.
Yeah.
But if they're short, it hits them in the nose. Sometimes it hits them in the head.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes they, like, I'm short, Tony. I'm 5'5". So people they like to come up and get in my face. And like sometimes they like kind of, stoop down and go, what are you going to do about it? And they're literally inches from my face.
How stupid, yeah.
And they don't understand how strong and hard this head is.
Yeah.
I'm a gabados, they call it in Italian.
Yeah.
And so like I use it. I use it because you know what? At that point, it makes me like get super strength because I get angry. But I'm not talking about this night. This night I wasn't gonna headbutt. I had it all like on lock. I wasn't gonna it was locked and
loaded. It was
loaded.
on safety.
It was on safe. The safety was on, so I wasn't gonna do that shit.
Safety.
So you love the headbutts. You're a soccer player.
Yeah.
You got some moves.
Played when I was a little kid.
Anybody that's played soccer knows how to headbutt a ball or whatever.
Yeah.
So at that point, like, as it's like almost like round 2, he's trying to act like he's gonna headbutt me, and he's, and I'm just like laughing and I'm moving my head so he can't get me and still talking. And so then like he says something like, well, you know what? We're gonna go. I'm gonna beat your ass, and then you're gonna go to jail. You're the one that's going to jail. And at that point, that's when he crossed the line. All this other posturing and yelling and all that stuff. But when he said that, I said, I don't want anything to do with this guy. I said, all right, rat. You want to fight? You want the best of both worlds, right? You want to act like a tough guy, but then you're going to have me arrested?
Yeah, exactly.
You want to have me arrested?
Yeah. He bitched
Fuck
out.
you, snitch.
He already bitched out.
Bitched. You're a bitch. And I said, you're a bitch-ass rat. So at that point, Tony, like I just said, okay, I put my hand up to frame it. I said, just so, to get his attention, you're gonna call the cops on me after you want to fight me. You're a bitch. You're a bitch-ass rat. We're done here. I want nothing to do with you. And I walked away. As I started to walk away, they're still talking their smack like that. So then I said, no, you're a rat. Get the fuck out of here, you fucking bitch-ass rat. And I kept saying it louder and louder. Yeah. This guy's a rat. This guy's a bitch-ass rat. Fake snitch. Look at him. He wants to act all tough, but then he's going to put me in jail? Who the fuck does this guy think he is? Who does he think he's fucking fooling here? He ain't tough.
So good.
He's not tough.
I love
right?
it.
So I was like up.
You could hear it, yeah.
I was making sure to shame the hell out of him. And then his friend says, hey, Tony, relax. Don't worry about it. I got him on video. We're going to get him. He's going to go to prison.
Yeah.
And that was the guy that looks both ways, right?
Yeah.
And so like, I'm just like thinking like, this guy, he must be embarrassing his wife, his mother, his father. Like they can't get him under control. But like, I'm done. I'm not going to mess with this guy. He's already showed that like, it's like you're playing tennis with someone and they're cheating right and left.
And then he lunged at you, right?
Well, so yeah, I see that they've got video of me or pictures of me or whatever. So I go ahead and just for safekeeping, I take a picture of their license plates, and he doesn't like that. So it's okay, because again, it's a 2-tiered system in this guy's mind. His friend can record me, but I can't take a picture of him. And so I'm like, what are you going to do about it? And because we're in a public place, and he tries to come up the steps at me. And I go, no, don't come at me. And so then he backs off. Then he comes a second time, and this is a thing, Tony, that I hate the fucking modern world we're in. Because let me tell you something. Back in the 80s, this kind of stuff, when I was running amok as a young guy, like, skateboarders, you get in fights with these people, but like, you're always ready to act. But nowadays, you got to second guess whether or not you can act, even in your own interests.
Yeah.
And what it reminds me of, I think it's parallel, is when Obama fucking did those fucking rules of engagement for the military guys.
Yeah.
And it carried over with Bush too, yeah.
They don't want men to be men.
Yeah.
You don't have a right to defend yourself.
Sure.
Yeah.
Great segue. No, that's good.
The guy's he's coming up the steps at me. And again, like, my instinct is, maybe kick this guy in the face.
I mean, that.
I'm like 5 steps up and he's down there. But I'm like, no, it's a new day. You don't kick people in the face. You're not supposed to do that.
He was lunging at you.
Well, but like I hesitate because like in the military, rules of engagement, you got to wait till they're fucking firing like fucking mortars and tank, anti-tank
You gotta get
grenades.
shot first before you.
You got to get shot at before you can defend yourself. So the guy does some jujitsu hook. He hooks my foot from down low, because I didn't lift it up and kick him in the face because I don't do that. Right? So he hooks my foot. And he's got a hold of my foot.
Yeah.
And so I turned to get loose from him, and I had my phone in my hand, and I'll use my wallet, but I had my phone in my hand, because I was taking this picture. So when I go down because he trips me because he got a hold of my foot, and I landed like on my phone on the concrete, and it smashed my finger. With all my weight as I went down on my elbow and this and it smashed my finger. And then I dropped my phone, and he's getting all excited. He's like, "Yeah, now you're gonna see. Like he's already reveling. He thinks he's got me."
Yeah.
And I just did a quick reversal, so then I was on top of him.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm holding him side control, and I'm holding him. And I never officially trained. I mean, light jujitsu, but not really. He was trying to do some moves on me, but So I had him, and then all of a sudden his dad becomes strong and brave. Right. He can't get his fucking stupid son under control. But then his dad grabs me and pulls me off. And I was like, you know what? I'm not trying to hurt his son in front of him.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not trying to hurt him at all. I just got him off of me and held him down. And so I let his dad pull me away, but I see my phone there. And this punk gets up and he's like, oh, and he pulls his pants up because he's one of those, slack pant guys. Their pants are slacking, right?
Yeah.
And he grabs my phone off the ground and he chucks it like 100 feet. And I'm not a vengeance kind of guy at that moment. Like, I'm not thinking, I'm going to make him pay for doing that. I just ran out into the parking lot and made sure I could get my phone. Yeah, and it was over. Wow. And it was over. They left. Yeah. I left. But, the next day, my hand was bothering me a little bit. And I was like, let me go get it checked out. And they said, yeah, your finger's broken. So my finger is broken, so I can't bend it. Right? And then this one's kind of sprained, so I can't really wear.
Then a few nights later, yeah, man, your pinky ring.
I had to switch fingers because it's
Italian pinky ring is
a little swollen.
But you know what? It was right before the election.
Yeah.
And everybody had to blow off some steam.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, it was funny because we had our other J6er friend Mark come down, and that was a cool evening. And then Mark spoke, and then Kim gave this great speech. Yeah. And then, like a minute later, the door fell off the hinge. You hear the door fall off the freaking hinges and shatter on the ground. And there was this young girl sitting with her boyfriend outside, and you walked outside to check on the door, and she said to us, his speech was so good, you blew the door off the hinges.
That's awesome.
But I just that's like 2 weeks in a row. I mean, man, that place is never a dull moment over there. It's always a fun place to be.
Especially now, something's in the air.
A lot of positive energy, but the positive energy meeting with the negative energy is combustible, right?
Well, yeah, right before the election, everybody was on edge.
Yeah, both sides. Yep.
I don't regret.
Things are quiet now, but
I don't regret.
They're planning.
I don't regret that day. I got a little thing, but you know what? It took my mind off the stress of but
it's funny
what was going to happen, and it happened. We got the election.
Well, it's funny but it's funny what you said about men now and the rules of engagement and how everybody's like pretty much a sissy. I was reading that there's scientists right now. Maybe you've heard about this, Doug. I don't know. Scientists right now are warning that the male species could be extinct. As Y chromosomes are beginning to fall.
What does that mean?
Well,
fall.
Fall, meaning they're. It's like de-evolution is happening.
Yeah.
And the Y chromosome is decreasing, which could mean basically like a future without any men, which but basically where we're almost at right now. When you think about it.
Yeah.
Well, that could be multiple reasons. They got this. They got this kind of field. It's called epigenetics, and basically, it says that you can turn on and off different gene expressions based on how you think or your experiences. So, if men throughout the Western world, especially, are experiencing being pushed down, cucked, and made to be pussies, and effeminate, and not able to express their masculine side,
That's
then
exa-
their genes are going to change
exactly.
and how they express it.
Exactly. That's the point. The Y chromosome is tiny. It only has 45 genes, and um, the Y chromosome only has that one gene, which makes it a male, right?
Yeah.
So, and the Y chromosome also is basically is always in your balls. It's not in the ovary,
Huh.
right?
Yeah.
So, but they're saying that your balls are not, your testicles are not safe places to live, with a lot of mutations taking place, and the mutations that are taking place right now, you see it every day with the men walking around.
Yeah.
So it's almost like exactly what you said. It's the way men are behaving now, is helping these genes mutate where they're going to eventually
Fall off.
vanquish men. But I think it's going to be survival of the fittest,
Well,
right?
We
So
we
it's
should
going to cull all these.
we should squash these transgender men now to save the planet.
That's a good plan. That's a good
Yeah.
plan. But yeah. So when you talk about about a fight like that, and the way that this guy is kind of hedging his freaking bets by saying, "I'll fight you, but I'm going to record it,
And
turn
I'm
you
going
to
to
the
put you in
cops."
jail.
Yeah.
Kind of honorable fight is that? Like between
What
two-
was he
two
even
men?
fucking doing at Basilicos? Like, it's good.
But it was funny. He came right after the election. Like I told you, you wonder if people are just trying to come there and just.
Did he
cause
cut?
a
No,
little
this was
trouble.
right before the election.
Oh, it was before the
It
election.
was right. It was like literally. That's why I was saying, like, I understand that tensions are running high with me.
Yeah.
Tensions are running high with everybody.
Yeah.
And so I understood this was like, I think it was like 2 days before the election.
But nobody,
Yeah.
but no one has ever come there and said anything to our face, like basically about anything that they disagree with. Nobody's ever
Yeah.
walked in there and said, "I disagree with you. I've heard you say this," or "I heard you say," not once ever.
He no, see, at least in like openly he agrees with you, but it's stolen valor because not everybody can walk the walk like you do. They can
Well-
talk the talk, but like we did some looking into it. What'd you find out? We found out stuff about this guy, right? Like Mitch, our waiter, our acting
Yeah.
waiter, said, "Oh yeah,
Well,
that guy's come in before. He's been an ass to me. I was thinking about
He's a
kicking him
rude-
out before."
Yeah, he's a rude guy.
Yeah,
And like I
he
said
had an
before,
attitude on the way in. So Will mentioned that
yeah, we
he
don't put
was-
up with it. Yeah, we won't put up with it.
Okay.
But-
Will said what? Will
but-
said what?
No, Will noticed it right when he walked in.
Yeah.
Mitch, the waiter, he noticed it right away. So it wasn't.
The neighbors
guy-
noticed it. Other
Oh yeah, our
patrons.
neighbor had. Yeah.
What were the tables doing when he and I went outside? Did someone told me that they were clapping.
Yes. They were. Well, there. Yeah, there was the big table was there, and they actually had enjoyed the evening, the extra entertainment.
It's always that way there. Somebody messaged me that night after it was over and said they felt like they were watching another scene from Goodfellas, like an extra additional
Oh, yeah.
scene. They said it was they enjoyed the show. Yeah, exactly. They enjoyed
Yeah.
the show but these people who do make threats though, they never do it in person. It's
No.
always by phone, it's by a letter, it's by screaming online. They're all
Yeah.
tough guys online, but nobody ever walks in there and gives a shit.
Yeah.
Ever. But it's like I said last time, it's Basilico's derangement syndrome.
Yes.
People
for
have
sure.
that there.
Yeah.
And now it feels like the people on the left this time compared to 2016, because if you remember when Trump got elected in 2016, that day they were already rioting in front of Trump Tower where Trump was holed up. I mean, it started immediately.
Yeah.
It's like now they have it's like now they're depressed. It's like Trump depression syndrome. Like they don't have anything to say. Like they're so
Yeah,
worn
they-
out and tired.
well,
Now's the time to strike.
A lot of them have already transitioned to the opposite sex.
That's
Those
true.
original rioters, they've
No,
transitioned.
You're right. Yeah.
You know, a lot of Antifa were transgender. Like I was in LA a few years ago, and the guy, I think our camera guy Tommy was there. The guy got stabbed, and it perforated his lung and nicked his heart.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that.
And it was a transgender guy that was an Antifa kind of guy. But like I said, most of them in the meantime they've transitioned or they have a high rate of suicide, so
Well,
they're gone.
What they're trying to do now, what I heard they're trying to do right now is they're trying to come up with an answer to Joe Rogan by finding a liberal Joe Rogan, and I had a great idea. I know the perfect person. Joe Rogan.
Yeah,
Joe
you're
Rogan.
right. You're
Joe
right.
Rogan's perfect. I mean,
He's too liberal.
He's already there. They
Yeah.
already have him.
Yeah.
He just came out. He just came out and he admitted that he has never voted Republican for a conservative in his fucking life.
Yeah.
But see, they do Trump started the deal, Tony. They don't just want that. They're not sensitive. They want to go farther and harder. They want a Marxist Joe Rogan. That's what they want. They want a Joe Rogan that's going to be choking out people that are, just barely to the right of Mao.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what they want.
Well, what's funny is that he was also saying, Rogan, somebody sent me a statement that he put out where he said he was so blown away by Elon Musk on election day because Elon Musk developed an app that was giving him accurate counts. And he said it was incredible. Elon Musk called the election a few hours before the results even came in. And I said, fuck that. We called the election almost 9 hours early. So I think they said 2 or 3 or 4 hours. We called it 9 hours.
Yeah.
Roman rules called it 9 hours early. We didn't even use a fucking app.
Yeah.
We just
we
use
didn't
our instincts.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So anyway, but, I was thinking about people that I do like that Trump has selected so far and people that I don't like.
Yeah.
Who do you like, Doug?
Right now my favorite is Tom Homan, who's
He looks like a tough guy too.
he looks like a tough guy. He's the one who's going to clean up the border and deport everybody. So
Oh yeah, he's a tough guy, right? He's a New Yorker. He's got that Sopranos vibe.
yeah, he
Should run for president. I mean, I would have got behind a guy like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he just says it like it is. I watched a clip of him where that bitch AOC was trying to grill him on Capitol Hill, and he would not budge
Yeah.
at all. And it got to the point where he schooled her so well that she just stopped and she started picking
didn't know what
on
to do.
somebody else. Well, she ran into a brick fucking wall.
Well, he's quick too. He's quick.
He's quick. He's smart. I think he fools people because he looks like maybe like a big dumb guy, but he's not a big dumb guy. He's a fucking smart guy.
Yeah.
He's just a tough guy.
And he's old school New York because they used to have a saying.
Is he from New York?
I think. I mean, sounds like it.
sounds
They
like
call
it.
it what they call that the New York minute, right? Because a New York minute is faster than a regular minute, right? So
Yeah.
so like that's why he's fast. He's sharp. He's quick.
Sure.
She says something, and he says, "Well, then you use this law, da 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 da," and he would just retort.
I was just waiting for him to say to her, "Go back to bartending. Go back to your fucking bar."
Bartender, yeah, Tony. That's where she belongs because she can only compete with other drunks.
Yeah.
That's her speed.
Yeah. I don't know, but you sent me a video where he said something pretty cool.
Well, the guy has been doing that job for a long, long time, and he knows what to do. He knows how to take care of the border, how to get that's kind of his forte. So I'm glad that he got. I'm glad Trump put him in that position, and he's going to go full force on it. He's. He's just the right guy for that position. So.
Well, yeah, they're complaining. I think.
No, but you said you sent me something that was funny. They asked about deportation.
Yeah.
About breaking up families.
Oh, families.
Yeah. What did he say? They were worried about how are you going to deport somebody? What about the family? How can you do that? How can you deport? And he said they all could go back together. You don't have to. That was his answer. Yeah. That's
send
a
the
good
whole
answer.
family back.
But the thing is, the one interview I saw with him, he said something that I didn't like. They asked him about who are they going to track down first, and of course they always start with the criminals, right?
Yeah.
But then he sort of hedged a little bit, saying that there are a lot of children that came over the border that are missing, and we don't know where they are. These children could be trafficked. There's 300,000 children that came over the border, and we have to find all of them. And I thought to myself, what about finding the American children?
Yeah.
Tracking. Is there any budget that the government has dedicated to tracking down American children that have been kidnapped and sold to sex trafficking organizations around the world, even,
Yeah.
What about them? I never hear anybody
You
say
never
anything
hear
about
anything
them.
about that.
But then all
It's like-
now all of a sudden we're going to spend all our time tracking down
Yeah.
300,000 kids that were brought over by their parents.
Yeah.
We're still going to put them first, which
We're going
is
to put
not a
them
good
first.
sign.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all. I mean, maybe he didn't realize what he was saying, but
Well,
they need to be held in check.
You know what it
He
is,
needs to
Tony?
hear this. These
There's-
are the things they need to hear.
They're still trying to appease the left and say to them things that will make it more palatable for them to accept that we have to deport people.
Exactly. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. They hedge. They have to soften it somehow.
And then they
Instead of
say,
just saying it.
"Oh, well, it's $10,000 per head to deport somebody." It's like, okay, but do you know how many millions it's going to be to like
Oh my God.
feed them, school them,
Yeah,
the jobs they're going to steal?
And it's a one-time cost to deport them all, but the drain on the economy in terms of how much they cost, each one of them per head, goes on forever, goes on for generations.
Yeah.
And just compounds every year. So
Because they actually take more out of the system than they put back in.
yeah.
So just to be fair to him, though, he did make a point that there are already like 1.3 million illegals that have already been through the legal system. They have the orders to deport, but the Biden administration's not going after him. So for him, the first thing he wants to do is go after that.
Well, we're going to see,
1.3
because
million.
I think one of the big reasons why Trump got elected is the illegal immigration.
Well, that's
issue.
the most important thing.
And I think if they fail on it, people aren't going to trust anything he says.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter because we won't have a country anymore.
We're already at that point, I think.
Another interest. I heard an interview, I think this morning. He was saying that he's receiving death threats.
Who?
Like
Tom
Ullman. And he said his family is not with him because of that death threats. So
Yeah, you almost
yeah.
you don't want to show any fear. I wouldn't even.
Well, he wasn't
wouldn't have said
showing
said
fear.
that.
He was like, "Hey, I'm not going anywhere."
So you know what? If they're death threatening him, then he needs to fucking death threat them.
Yes.
Yeah.
He needs to fucking say,
Make
this is
the
not
target
tolerated.
bigger.
We will find you and we'll use lethal force.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Lethal force. If you're fucking whoever you are, even if it's fucking the FBI that's death threatening them, if they're going to act like criminals and they're going to try and do this shit, because that's insurrection. I'm going to call everything insurrection. Because it is.
Hey.
If they're fucking bringing in invaders, that's fucking insurrection.
They love that word, so let's use it on them.
Let's let them understand, because they always project.
Mhm.
Let's let them. Yeah, you said it. They love that word.
They love
well,
it.
now
Let's
they
use
fucking
it.
get used to
We're
it.
going to
'Cause
steal it.
Yeah.
You stole the blue, right, from us, when it was red and blue.
Yeah.
we're going
Now
to
we have
repurpose.
red. Exactly.
We don't steal. They steal. We're going to repurpose.
Oh,
it.
by the way, speaking of blue and red, you know what? Like we were talking about, if we're gonna have red, fuck it, it's fine, because red, represents alert,
Yeah.
fight, right, urgency,
Exactly.
attack, right.
Yeah.
I was reading about how pirates in the old days used to communicate with each other, and flags were an important way for them to communicate to other ships. And they would raise the black when they approached an enemy ship. They would raise a black flag that indicated that we're going to fight you, and we're going to board your ship. But if you give us everything, we won't hurt anybody. We'll let people off. We'll be okay. But we're still coming.
Yeah.
We're coming aggressively. We're gonna fight you, and we're gonna kick ass. But you have a chance. But when they raised a red flag, it meant we're coming to fucking kill everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Well, we need to raise the red flag now.
No mercy whatsoever. So you know what? I like the fucking red.
Yeah.
I like the red color red now.
Yeah.
And we got to start raising those fucking red flags everywhere.
Definitely.
Yeah, you know what? Because blue, it reminds you of cool heads prevail.
Exactly.
All that civility dipshit. Wouldn't it be prudent, a kinder, gentler nation that,
I remember that.
I think he even wore a fucking blue tie.
Yeah.
Who's
Bush
Oh, Bush, yeah,
Senior.
he did.
Kinder, gentler nation.
Yeah,
No. We need a fucking rough and tough nation right now.
Yeah.
If not now, then never, because now's the time.
Yeah, speaking of Bush too, I was thinking about him the other day because he has these news conferences and these publicity stunts where he does these rides to raise money for veterans, and he's always claiming he loves veterans. And meanwhile, his daughters are voting for Kamala.
Yeah.
He's hanging out with the Obamas and the Clintons who hate the military. But I thought about it too, like here you are saying you're raising money for these guys, but you're the guy that recklessly sent them to slaughter. And didn't even let them defend themselves. Like you were saying earlier, you can shoot here, you can't shoot there. Rules of engagement were fucked, And I think he's lost all moral high ground to ever say that again.
Yeah, I agree.
And these men who fought under his command when he's commander in chief lost arms, they lost legs in Afghanistan and Iraq. I wonder if they feel the same way.
Yeah. I agree completely.
But the one guy that I think we're talking about, Tom Homan, is that how you say his last name?
Yeah.
The guy I'm still most
Homan, like
Homan.
Roman, but with an H.
There you go. I'll
right.
remember that
Yeah,
now.
there you
I'll
go.
remember that now. Thanks for that. The one guy that I'm really well. Let's talk about Elon Musk first before we get to the next guy. But Elon Musk, you said it. You said early on, like, how is Trump ever going to get rid of him?
That's the problem.
And I remember you said that over and over again. I didn't quite get it, but you would say it. Boy, well, you're right, because now Trump is almost like mocking him openly in front of people, embarrassing him, saying, "I can't get rid of this guy. He won't leave. What's that place called?
Mar-a-Lago.
Mar-a-Lago. He can't,
See, but Trump's going to have the problem with all these people he's bringing in.
yeah,
Everyone talks about he's good about firing people and hiring, but there's a couple people like Musk. It's hard. It's going to be very difficult for him to get rid of him. It's going to be very hard for him to.
He's autistic. All you got to do is tell him straight out, get out. That's how you got to deal with autistic people.
get out. Yeah,
You
but
don't beat around the bush. It goes over their head. If Trump, you say Trump making jokes or implying, like, that doesn't work. Musk is admittedly autistic, so you just got to say, "Hey, it's been nice having you, but I want you to leave." Okay, and he'll walk out.
Yeah, but Musk, the inner circle of Musk right now are complaining that he's. There's a lot of rumblings going on already, where they're saying that he's trying to take credit for everything that's happened so far, and he's almost like a co-president now. Like, he's trying to hijack the presidency. And I know you love memes. You talk about memes, right? I'm still learning what that is, but apparently they're calling him the first lady now.
I saw a meme with that.
Did you see that?
I didn't get it. I didn't get the
So
joke.
they distorted his face and kind of combined it with Melania's face.
Yeah. I saw that.
Because he's there all the time, and Melania's not. She's not there at all.
Yeah.
So, but he supported Obama. He supported Clinton. He supported. He voted. Admitted that he voted for Biden. Yeah. So if it was up to him, a Trump presidency wouldn't even fucking exist.
Yeah.
But the guy that I'm concerned about the most is RFK. And I know people jump on me about that, and how dare them, because I have been a conservative-minded person my whole life since I was a little kid, and they jump on me because I'm attacking a guy who's been a left-winger his whole life.
Yeah.
But they would rather defend him and attack me.
Yeah.
But they need to listen, because I think a lot of these are going to turn into big problems later. I mean, think about 2016. How many people he chose that turned against him? What do you think is going to happen this time?
Yeah.
It's going to be worse, I think, because this time he can only serve 4 years and that's it. So where's the retribution really going to come?
Yeah.
And for me, it feels like these snakes in the grass are slithering into his door, and once they get inside, they're going to try to implement the policies that they truly have believed in all along. And RFK, I'm learning, he's becoming, he's in charge now of what?
It's
Health
and Human Services.
That's a big job, right?
Yeah.
That's a big fucking job. I mean, he's going to basically dictate how we treat, how we implement programs at hospitals, right? In schools, foods, everything. And what I heard was he's had these two lefties by his side named Kaylee Means and Dr. Casey Means, and they're a sister and brother team, and they're lefty, big time, and they have promoted ideas. They have I think they have like some food business, and they have podcasts, a little like media empire, and they promote ideas that are more recognizable, it seems, to the political left than the conservative side, and they have loved all over Michelle Obama and her ideas of adding, of cutting out all the foods at the schools and adding, vegetables and whole grains to school lunches. The kids go in there, they don't eat any of that shit,
Yeah,
right?
they throw it away.
They don't even want it. And one of them, actually, he admitted, I think it was the guy, the brother, he admitted that he came into this this passion of his because he had visions of dedicating their lives to reforming healthcare after he had a high dose of a psychedelic drug.
Wow.
That's how he came into it. And
Trippy.
What? Yeah.
That's trippy, man.
Yeah, and RFK now is pushing Trump to select one or both of these two to have prominent roles in the administration. Yeah. And he wants Casey Means, I think the one that was talking about the psychedelic drugs and this vision he had, he wants that person to be Surgeon General. He's telling Trump, I want him to be Surgeon General or Commissioner of the Food and Drug Administration. And a lot of people don't know this, but the Food Drug Administration regulates 1/5 of the economy here in the United States. So, they also, you might pay attention to this, Doug. They also criticize our current medical system's approach to trying to solve chronic and deadly diseases with specialists and medications. They criticize that because they want a more holistic approach. Yeah. And they also, you're going to love this, Kim, they also interned for good old John McCain.
Great.
So there you go. That's what RFK is bringing in.
Anything connected to John McCain, he's the worst. There's no greater enemy than the traitor. You have your grievances with RFK, but whatever danger he presents, he's letting you know exactly who he is. And I use that analogy with like that Soros DA they've got up in L.A., Gascon. He's he's telling you exactly who he is. He's a Democrat, Soros funded. Yeah. I am more concerned about our fake ass traitor rhino, Todd Spitzer, right here, right now in Orange County, because he's the worst. He's more dangerous. Same thing with, like, I look at it with RFK. At least you know what you're getting. Now, a traitor like Nikki Haley, I'm glad that Trump had no spot for her. Yeah. Because Nimrata Haley is, I have fond memories of chasing her motorcade in Costa Mesa here in Orange County. We chased him out of town. She's a traitor. She's not for us.
He's kept her out.
He kept her out. So far, so good.
But she was.
And she's turned on him, right?
She's that's what Doug was saying.
Sour grapes, yeah.
She's
good.
She's a proven enemy, but he didn't know that they would be enemies when he brought him into the fold to begin with. But when you bring in an enemy that tells you that they're your fucking enemy, shame on you, I think. He said that RFK has made statements like the government should not restrict abortion whatsoever, even late stages. He has said it. He's called for the government to create healing farms where people basically go and they do psychedelics all day long, and he wants them legalized. Yeah, he wants them legalized. He wants
drugs legalized. You saying?
Yes, he's been called the leading environmentalist in the country for a long time. He opposes fracking. He wants to end fossil fuels, as you know, Doug, right? Yeah.
Trump put his foot down on that. He said, "You just can't touch our oil."
He's filed. Yeah, we'll see. He's filed tons of lawsuits against our American energy companies. He's done that. Al Gore considered him to be, I think, to be on his Council of Environmental Quality or whatever. And John Kerry and Barack Obama had him on a short list to run the Environmental Protection Agency. Yeah. So he got himself arrested, I think, several times. Once at a protest against the Keystone Pipeline
Yeah.
XL, which was a project that Joe Biden canceled.
Right.
So he was all about that. He's even got a press. The press secretary he had for a long time was a woman named Stephanie Spear, and she openly praised China's war on coal, and she occupied the State House. I think when she was leading an anti-fracking protest or whatever. She celebrated Bernie Sanders and his whole environmental, green energy deal, right? You remember that? She consulted for, this is the worst. She consulted for diversity, equity, inclusion organization funded by George Soros. Now that's his spokesperson that he's had for a long, long time.
Yeah.
He once said that China's threats, that China's threats of organ harvesting, they talk about that all the time, and that's a big thing over there. He thinks he's called that a means for meeting green energy deals, and he thinks that.
What do you mean, like it's recycling?
Exactly, and he says that shows how committed China is to saving the environment.
So he's basically putting lipstick on a pig.
Yeah. He wants to cut the military in half. You've heard that. He said that openly, and he accepts the idea of a different world order where Russia and China are on equal footing with the United States.
I mean, I'm okay with cutting the military in half if they cut out the woke half.
Yes.
They got to get rid of that.
Is that even half of the military anymore? Is it more?
It could be what?
It feels like more. I mean, it's even infiltrated into West Point, where some of our greatest soldiers are trained and influenced. Right.
So it seems like maybe the strategy is become friends with Trump and his group, get in, and then just destroy from within.
Well, they're going to be. There's so many of them now inside that I feel like they're going to steamroll. They're going to basically just it's going to be a runaway train. I mean, he's 78 years old. Who's going to stop him?
Yeah.
And why does his daughter-in-law get to be the first selection to fill Marco Rubio's seat in the Senate? Why?
What do you think about her? You don't like her?
I mean, look, she married into the family. What talent did she have before? I mean, I don't know. She's got money behind her. You can almost do anything with money behind you.
She seems smart. I don't know. I don't know yet.
Did you see her trying to launch her music career?
No.
That's what she's doing too. She thinks she's a singer. She's delusional. She's trying to launch a singing career now. It was I watched it.
Is her name Lauren? Is that it?
Lara,
Lara,
right? Lara,
right.
yeah.
I mean, supposedly, what was it? She did something like that was instrumental in this election. I think
she did a good job.
Republican National
co-chair.
Co-chair. So
Co-chair.
I mean,
she wrangled a bunch of lawyers, right? And she had them on the spot.
Well,
that good?
They made a big change to that whole organization. The
that's
last girl,
fine. She can stay in that job.
Romney's niece or whoever was.
Yeah, she had to go.
Before,
She had to go. The Romney's niece.
and it was a disaster. You couldn't win anything.
Well, let her stay in that job, but doesn't mean she has to be senator.
No, I know. I agree.
Put a man in there.
Exactly.
Well, you know what? I mean, at least he's got one person he can trust, and he couldn't even trust his own daughter.
But he can't trust his daughter. In fact, his daughter, if you watch when they do
they're just
family pictures, they kind of push her out.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it is good. It is good. But she's got her role. It's like, don't get greedy. We can find somebody else. Stay in your role. Gabby Tulsi, what's her last name? Gabby what? Gabby
Tulsi Gabbard.
Tulsi Gabbard. What I call her?
Gabby
Tulsi. Tulsi Gabbard. Yeah.
Gabbard.
She wanted to mandate ending fossil fuels.
Yeah.
And she wanted everything electric by 2050, I think. She backed Bernie Sanders' tuition-free community college, for tuition-free public universities. She wanted to ban assault weapons, require universal background checks. She wanted health insurance for everybody, universal health insurance, and she was pissed when the Trump administration in 2016 was trying to weed out trans soldiers from the U.S. military. Speaking to that, she got angry and she put a statement that she was totally against it.
Yeah.
So she's going to run what?
She's running what is it? The NIA.
Yeah.
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 What's NIA?
Intelligence. It's the National Intelligence Agencies. So all these groups all have their own little, intelligence groups. So there's one. She's kind of the person that communicates between all the different services.
And Kristi Noem is another one. She's going to be running DHS. She's going to be in charge of Secret Service.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
She recently acted like a slut.
Yeah.
I know she's on our side, but we're
gotta have a standard.
Well, we're equal opportunity slut callers. She
Can we name
right?
names of who she
Didn't
was
she cheat on her husband?
Yeah, she was married with
the other guy,
with Lewandowski.
Lewandowski. So she also stopped a bill in South Dakota that was going to ban women from competing, and ban men from competing, trans men from competing in women's sports, and she vetoed it.
Yeah.
She vetoed it, and so she showed her true colors too. And she also, during the lockdowns, she wasn't as hardcore as she claims.
Yeah.
She signed off on a lot of pro-lockdown, pro-COVID policies. She allowed schools to be locked down. She did a lot of that shit. I mean, she covered a lot of that up, like you said, stolen valor.
Stolen valor.
A lot of stolen valor.
Because you presented a standard, and you had no compromise, and you even pushed it farther than what people thought. And then these people would come to you and they try to tell you their stories, like, you should hear about this guy, or you should hear about this person or this place. And without doubt, every single time, what was it? It was, they fell short of the standard.
A lot. By a lot. Stefanik, what's her first name? Elise Stefanik. What is she going to run? She's running something.
I forget.
Something big.
Something big.
She's another one.
She's a New York Republican, but she's a New York.
She's admitted moderate.
Yeah.
So she's running her mouth. That's what she's running.
Yeah. She didn't like Trump when he withdrew from the Paris climate.
So she's part of that bullshit.
Yeah. She opposed his 2017 order to address. I know it was the temporary ban on Muslim countries. She opposed that. She's awful. I mean, I can go on and on about her too. She also is pro LGBTQ. She's pro gay marriage. She is she is a person who's making demands that there need to be more women running for office in the Republican Party. So she's a big reason for all that's happening now.
So quotas and affirmative action.
Yeah. So I want to talk about people that we don't like. We mentioned some of them. Susan Wiles, I mentioned her early on.
Yeah.
Last time, I don't like her. Rubio, we don't like him. Stefanik, UN ambassador, that's what she is. Think about that. Fucking UN ambassador. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
You're going to represent our country to the world. That's who you pick?
Yeah.
So
was it Nikki Haley, the UN ambassador?
Another woman.
Last time?
So woman.
Making the same mistake again.
Yeah. Woman. Mike Waltz, National Security Advisor. I don't want him either, because as soon as J6 happened, he certified Joe Biden's election.
Yeah. Everyone knows that election was stolen. There's 20 million votes.
Everyone honest.
There's 20 million votes they can't find.
Listen, I say all the time, man, I'm not a conspiracy guy. When that thing was going down in 2020, I didn't pay a lot of attention to the election, because Trump lost my interest when he allowed the lockdowns to happen. So I didn't pay attention much. But now when I see this election and the number of votes cast at a time when people could freely go out and vote, back then there were lockdowns, and you had millions of more votes then than now, that's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so
Another-
that argument's
they're
over.
They're reaching. All these people reaching out to me, going, "Did you hear about the pardon?" And they're trying to get me to get on a list, or I know a politician that will get you on a list for Donald Trump. And I'm like, look, no, thank you. I don't want a pardon.
Yeah.
I don't want to. You're forgiven. Forgiven for fucking what?
Didn't do anything
Yeah,
wrong.
exactly.
Forgiven for what? So like, I'm going to limp off with my tail in between my legs. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I got forgiven. No, like, that's not me. That's not America. That's not who we are.
And you want your opportunity to drag them through the mud. You want your timing. You want your day in court. Right?
This is what it is, because here's the thing.
You didn't fight this long to have it in such an easy way.
On
right?
a whimper, right? No. We want you want to take me there. Well, like that famous scene where he takes the line. Now you just can't leave.
No, you can't leave.
Now you can't leave.
That's a scene from Bronxdale. Yeah.
Well, here's the point. They wanna like get engaged with me and grapple with me. Like I always say, Tony, I'm the tar baby. You wanna put hands on me, you're gonna get stuck. I'm gonna entangle you, and that's what I want to do with this. I want to go into that court and I want to demand to know discovery. I want what the government has on which FBI assets were there that day.
You want to punish him.
I want to expose them.
That's punishing. Yeah.
Because here's the
And the
thing.
punishment will come soon.
Everybody,
after.
it was a setup. It was a setup. No. I didn't get set up. They set you up to think I got set up. You got set up to think this stupid narrative. And furthermore, I'd say to these people, oh yeah, here's the point. They set themselves up. They played themselves. The evidence is there. We're going to expose them because they did the crime.
And when they say it was a setup, it cheapens the effort. It cheapens what that day represented.
Yeah, because here's the point. And this is the bottom line if you take nothing else. 1 million people showing up to protest bullshit.
For love of country.
For love of country.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't have to be for love of country. It just could be because it's our right under the First Amendment.
But everyone there really,
Well, yeah, we're the American flag. And
they were patriots.
But here's the point.
Put it that way.
Is 1 million people, but across the board, you have a constitutional First Amendment right. 1 million people showing up to let their words, their opinion, their thoughts be heard. Yeah. That's normal. That's what it means to be an American. Yeah. And all these people that want to be like, oh no, it was a setup. So think about that. Take that to the logical next conclusion, the progression. So if going to a school board meeting, don't go, it's a setup. If going to, because I got invited by 2 fucking federal operatives to go to my first school board meeting in Huntington Beach. Am I going to look back and say, I should have gone to that school board meeting? Fuck no.
Yeah.
I owned a fucking house 1.5 miles from that school board, and I had 4 kids in my household in that school district. I have a right to go to a school board meeting. Absolutely. I don't give a fuck what the fucking deep state wants to do with their fucking little fucking sting operations and put parents on domestic terrorist watch lists. Fuck them. Shame on them. They're setting themselves up because we need to fucking pursue that, expose them, and fucking make them stand trial for their fucking crimes and conspiracies. Same thing with fucking my December 6th case. 4 fucking cholos come sauntering up to our MAGA movement as it's wrapping up. 1 cholo sits off to the side, and then 3 go to town attacking women, tipping over tables, breaking American flags, breaking Trump flags, punching women with brass knuckles. And then guess what happens? As soon as the red-blooded Americans that are present start reacting and going, get out of here, because they're horrified. You got December 6th. You got Trump supporters 1 month before J6 here in Orange County. And then what happens? These 4 cholos show up. They start attacking women with brass knuckles. They start breaking signs. They start tipping over tables. They start doing horrible things, crimes. And so what happens? It's a natural response. The red-blooded American patriot Trump supporters come running and going, get out of here. That's when their 4th wheel starts filming. And people could say, oh, they set you up. No. If you're fucking committing these fucking heinous crimes, you got fucking brass knuckles, and you're punching a woman in the back with your brass knuckles, you're setting yourself up for failure. Because once you've fucking done that, you're going to be exposed. I don't care if I have to fucking wait 3.5 fucking years out on bail. I don't care if I have to fucking fight this case and do legal maneuvers to drag it out forever. I'm going to wait until we can expose and get all the evidence out of what you did to Americans. They set themselves up. They didn't set me up at J6. They didn't set me up at D6. They didn't set me up to go to a school board meeting. Yeah, I did all those things. And so fucking what? And this is the problem. We need to start addressing what they're doing because they're setting themselves up for failure. Because you don't pull that shit. These fucking punk-ass bitches.
Well,
you don't pull that shit on us.
You didn't take a deal this whole time. And the way I see it is, if they're going to offer you a way out and they're going to say to you, we'll dismiss your case or we're going to pardon you, that's taking a deal. That's taking.
Yeah.
Look, now you may not be able to stop it, right? Because that's just how it goes.
But it's Latin. It's mea culpa.
Different. You can't
culpa.
do shit about it.
Mea culpa means my fault.
Yeah.
I'm not saying my fault for shit.
No, but it may
your fault.
But you may be unable to stop that from actually happening.
Yeah.
But you have the opportunity to at least say, Your Honor, I object. I object to you to dismiss this fucking case.
Well, when they dismiss it, yeah, I'll say I object.
I want to go to battle all the way to the end until I submit you. So you got to at least get that on fucking record. At least. Now we don't know what's going to happen. Look.
Well, there's a couple of judges right now that are coming out saying that they're going to postpone the whatever court dates that they have.
They're showing
right
weakness.
now.
Yeah, they're showing weakness.
And then you'll have to see your next court.
But then they fired. But then they fired back too, and they just arrested a guy today.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, how long has it been? Just today, an NFL player, a former NFL player, so he's high profile. They know it's a way to kind of poke back and say, well, you might think we're scared, but we're still moving forward with this.
Yeah.
As a way to intimidate a little bit more, push a little pushback. But sometimes people push back a little when they know it's getting close to the end.
Yeah.
But
we'll have to see what happens with your next
Thursday the 21st.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should all get together and maybe if you want, we'll do it at your place again.
Yeah, we'll do it on the Zoom. If people want to come and watch Kim, in court, basically remotely, you'll actually be witnessing a J6 case hearing, a proceeding, and it's historic. And we don't know how long this is going to last, but
yeah, it's going to be interesting.
It's pretty incredible to witness
what the judges.
Well, they haven't.
What his mood is.
It doesn't even matter his mood. They haven't even reassigned me a new attorney yet. I had that long, lengthy battle to get rid of the last.
Yours is a way out, man.
So I haven't been assigned a new one yet. He may say, Mr. Sergenti, we're putting this on hold, which I don't want.
Yeah.
Because I want to go forward. I want to get access to the discovery. I want to see the video of where I was at.
But submitting comes in different forms. Like they could submit, and by saying that, he's submitting in a way. It's like people tapping out of your other cases.
Well, I hope you're there to see it, Tony, because you know what?
Thursday 21st,
you've been with me this whole time.
Yeah, I'll be there.
You've done more to fight J6 and put more work in on J6 than I would say 90% of the J6ers.
I appreciate it.
Really, you've come and met with me with the federal public defenders who we knew were working for the team.
Yeah.
We put them on the spot. We had them fucking backpedaling. We had their heads spinning. Yeah. Right? We had them. They didn't know what to fucking do with us.
Never back down, not once.
They didn't know what to do.
Yeah, we were a team.
And you had the comfortable position of you weren't really involved, but you were.
Yeah.
So you could just kind of sit back and watch, and it's like we're sitting there in the fucking federal public defender's office, and his hand's shaking, and you're sitting there in the corner with your shades on, just like you're sitting right now. You're just sitting there.
Yeah.
You're just sitting there watching him.
Yeah.
And
his hands were shaking.
His hands were shaking.
His hands, meaning the public defender who was trying to bully him.
Are we allowed to mention his name? Bo?
Yeah, Bo. Bo, whatever. Bo, dumbfuck.
But again, we're not going to have the strength that we need if Trump keeps hiring women, and he's hiring a lot of them. He hired Linda McMahon to be, I think, Commerce Secretary. Stefanik mentioned her. Tulsi Gabbard mentioned her.
Because they go weak.
Who else? Who was the other one?
McMahon was in his.
Christine Nome was the other one.
Yeah. McMahon was in his first administration.
The guys that are running, the guy. She was.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, well, she shouldn't have been.
We talked about genetics earlier, and this is the fact. Historically, women that raised children, and in other words, pass their genes on to another generation. The women that had children, they had to get along with the other women, and they became very communal. very like sociable, very socialist, because they would all partner and help one another in watching the children in the town. And if you're a woman that didn't get along with the other women, you probably weren't able to have your children thrive or even survive. And so women are genetically bred to get along. And right now, we don't need that get along mentality. We need that you're going our way. We're not going to compromise. And
And that's why I like men like one of his choices, Pete Hegseth.
Yeah.
I know he's not experienced. Maybe that's what we need. Somebody who comes in there that's not a woke, to have a woke background, being a general or admiral. He comes in clean, right? And he has even said, it's been documented where he said women don't belong in combat.
Yes.
Now he hasn't gone one step further and said they don't belong in the military at all.
Yes.
But he has said at least they don't belong in combat.
Yeah.
He should take the extra step and just say it. He said what? They're not helpful, right?
No.
He said
they don't improve the readiness of the force.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, it causes more problems.
And when you told me that, because I heard that from you, he apparently today they on a what kind of helicopter is it? An Apache warship. 2 soldiers, a man and a woman, they're caught having sex on the Apache. And that's a distraction, right?
Yeah,
it's a distraction. They're not helpful.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine, his son is in the Marines. He works with an air wing, and I went to see him at a ceremony at Camp Pendleton months and months. I think it was last year, actually. Yeah. He got a promotion. He was pinned. It was fucking cool. And I saw these other Marines walking around, female Marines, with their fucking buns. When I see that, I fucking go crazy, all tight, just fucking lose it when I see that. And they're walking around. They all have fat asses. And I remember I went up to him and I asked him. I said, I'm going to fucking ask him. And I said, look, fucking just tell me the truth. I know your dad, man. Just fucking tell me.
Yeah.
What's it like? What do they do? Is it helpful having them around? Just like you said.
Yeah,
and he said, fuck no. He said, they don't do shit. They get in the way. They don't do anything. They're a waste of space. Yeah. And he said, everybody knows why they're fucking here. Yeah. It's a fill a quota.
It's checking a box. It's
the woke agenda. That's all it is. So hopefully Pete Hegseth goes in there. Department of Defense, you're leading the Department of, that's fucking a massive role. Yeah. Massive. You know what else I like a lot? Stephen Miller.
Yeah, I love that guy.
But why is he deputy chief of staff? He should be chief. I like him. I mean, the fact that he's going to work underneath at Susie, whatever her name is, makes me sick. But
there's room to switch him and move him up.
He's tough, man. He's been with him for a while too, and he's loyal.
You know what he'll do is he'll prove his worth.
You know who that is?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I love Steve Miller.
Yeah, he goes hard, and that's
hard.
good.
Yeah,
right?
He's smart.
So he'll prove his worth, and then he'll supplant her, and maybe that's the idea.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's the plan. Maybe that's Trump's plan.
Like right now, he's appeasing them. These are swamp creatures.
Why not go straight for it?
Just go straight for it.
He's not in yet.
I don't know about.
That's true.
I don't know about John Ratcliffe. I don't know enough about him running the CIA. He seems
I think he's pretty good. I don't have any bad memories about.
But he seems fine.
Yeah.
But the one area of the government that hasn't been mentioned at all, which I'm surprised, but I think I know why, and I'm hoping he picks this guy to run the FBI, Kash Patel.
Oh, yeah.
You know Kash Patel?
Yeah.
Kash Patel is smart as hell.
Yeah.
He's loyal as fuck.
Yeah.
He's a patriot. He's no nonsense. He's fucking tough.
Yeah.
He was born in the United States, by the way. His parents are Indian descent, I think. But he actually, when he was in government, he actually tried to get officials from the Defense Department to fucking block the transition team for fucking Biden.
That's awesome.
Like when you do shit like that, I like you.
You got balls.
You got balls, man. And he's hardcore.
He's good.
And just give the FBI to him and let him clean fucking house.
Yeah.
Because we didn't even talk about Matt Gaetz yet.
No.
What do you think about him?
I'm not sure I like him as a person.
And we've met him.
Yeah, I haven't. You have.
You weren't there that day?
I wasn't there.
Okay.
I didn't make that.
Good.
I'm not sure I like him as a person,
Yeah.
but I think he's a guy that I think they all fear him, and I think he can do a lot of damage to the other side.
Yeah, when I met him, I wasn't impressed with him as a man, but but I know he's been loyal to Trump.
Yes.
He seems to be very, very supportive of J6ers, right?
Yeah, he was one of the few Congress people that actually
spoke out, but he really didn't do
they-
anything.
Well, I haven't
He
really
didn't do
done
shit,
anything. I
but
mean,
he
I
at
don't know,
least
they
he at
get-
least talked about
probably
it,
got
I guess.
stonewalled, but
Yeah,
you know,
and I think nominating him was a big fuck you to the left.
absolutely.
Trump was just doing a troll job.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I was thinking about Hegseth though in the military because, have you seen these commercials for the military when they do this thing where it's for the army? Maybe you've seen it, Tommy, back there, where they show it could be a man or a woman, a young woman or a young man, and they're doing the job, and the parent is following them around, saying, "Are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to do this? Have you seen that? You sure you want to do this?
I don't watch TV.
Okay, you sure you want to do this?
Yeah.
It's a commercial, and they say, "You sure you want to do this?" So then the person says, "Yes, mom," or "Yes, dad, I want to do this. I feel really, really good. Are you sure? Are you sure?" And then they go back, and it shows them in regular street clothes, and they're sitting in their bedroom at the house with their mom and dad. They're basically saying, "I want a career being in the military."
Yeah.
And then the parent is showing such concern, and that shows you where we're at today. Because in the old days, back in the day, if a kid wanted to join the military, the parents were pushing them into it.
Yeah.
They were proud of them.
It was a privilege. Yeah.
It was a privilege. But now it's like, no, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. And I'm wondering if he's going to change the messaging, And I also think that I don't want to hear any more generals talking about. Look, I understand we don't want wars. I understand that. We don't want. Nobody wants that. But I'm tired of generals talking soft, and I'm tired of these experts talking soft that's served in the military when they say things like, "We shouldn't be fighting all these unnecessary wars," and we should. As a general, an American citizen, a civilian wants that. It's fine.
Yeah.
But when you talk that way as a general, it makes you appear like you're afraid of war.
Yeah.
And I also don't fucking like when they say things like I just saw it the other day. They were saying it was some guy, Lieutenant Colonel, I think, and he was saying we're not prepared. If we were to go to war with China, we don't even have enough missiles, and we don't have enough bullets. What the? Shut the fuck up! If something was to break out in Taiwan or they were to invade us, we wouldn't even be able to last a week. Yeah. Shut the fuck! What are you doing?
I know.
Shut up!
They should be, instead of saying that, they should be saying, "Hey, bring it on! We got all the
fucking fake it if you have to
know about."
Yeah, fucking fake it.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on here? So
they say that's Sun Tzu, The Art of War, right? When you're weak, pretend you're strong.
Yeah.
Oh,
you're strong,
terrible.
pretend you're weak.
It's fucking terrible. But that's one thing about Trump. You never hear him say that shit, and he gets pissed when he hears that stuff too, which I like. That's good instincts. And the first people we need to go to war with now are these governors and mayors of these cities and these states that are saying right now that they want to go against Trump and declare their states and cities sanctuary cities during these mass deportation operations. Insurrection.
That's declare the Insurrection Act.
Arrest them immediately.
Round them up.
Yeah.
Send them to Guantanamo Bay.
Port California, Governor Newsom, they're having a special session to figure out their strategy on how they're going to combat all these anticipated Trump, regulations that he's going to do or that he's going to.
Well, you like
you
Homan.
mean there are already laws. You can't invade us. You can't be an invader and have rights. These are invaders, and I don't care what name they put on it. They're invaders. We got to get them out, and we got to get our country back.
Well, you like Homan. He said, "You better get the fuck out of the way."
Exactly.
He said, "If you're not going to help us, and if you even try to stand in our way, watch out because we're coming." That's exactly what he said.
You can deport them too.
Yeah.
If you stand in the way, then you get to go too.
He said if he needs to bring more, if we're not going to get help from law enforcement in a particular city, he goes, I'm going to have to send, bring more people in. So
but he's got to mean it. He's got to mean it.
I think he means it.
So they're going to use National Guard, right?
Whatever.
Good.
Whatever resources he needs, he's going to bring in there. Is what he's saying.
Good.
So,
I wish they used the National Guard like back then, back in the 2016, 2017.
And I was thinking about that today again too, about how these people are establishing these sanctuary cities and sanctuary states, counties, or whatever. I heard that in San Francisco they may do away with the trolley. It's a beautiful trolley. San Francisco, they're going to do away with a trolley, beautiful trolley, right? A classic attraction, and because they can't afford it. They can't afford it because they're fucking spending money on illegal aliens.
Exactly.
And the fucking homeless illegal aliens.
The priorities are all upside down and backwards.
What?
Their priorities are all upside down and backwards.
And they can't afford it because they chase away all the tourists.
All the tourists.
Because the tourists are like, I'm not going there and getting
Because
my
they were
vehicle
anti-cop.
broke. Yeah, because they're breaking all the windows on the vehicles and stealing everything inside.
It's like
tourists, no money. No money, you can't afford shit.
If you park your car in San Francisco, leave the windows open, the doors open. Otherwise, you're gonna have a broken window. Anti-cop
city.
Yeah.
Before we go, I wanted to talk about something funny I saw. So I was driving in my truck today, and I heard this interview. And I'm mentioning it because I want people to see it. And I was listening to this interview of Mike Tyson. It's funny. I've met Mike Tyson twice. He's not a big guy at all. I remember once I met him. I won't say where, but I met him, and he was cool. And then another time, a nice guy, soft spoken, and he's not a dumb guy.
No,
he's not a dumb guy. He thinks outside the box. He's very honest.
He's just got a little speech impediment, is all.
Yeah, for a tough guy to have that voice sucks for him, but it's recognizable for him. But I remember,
Is everyone gonna make fun of him?
But I remember another time, But the second time I'd met him, I'd actually spoken to him.
Yeah.
So let's say I met him once and I've seen him twice. First time I saw him, I was at a meeting in L.A. and it was in Beverly Hills, I think, at the Peninsula Hotel.
Mm-hmm. Really
nice hotel. And I go in there and it was crazy. That day I saw Al Pacino sitting with the woman that was his love interest in Godfather. What was her name? Diane Keaton.
Yeah.
He's sitting with her, which is hilarious. I saw the guy that just died that was in Goodfellas. What was his name? The main guy who played Henry Hill. Forget his name. And
Ray Liotta.
Ray Liotta. Thanks, Tommy. Ray Liotta. And people were everywhere, right? So I'm getting ready to walk in the elevator, and I'm walking in. And then the elevator shuts, and I'm in the elevator with fucking Mike Tyson. And I'm like, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up?
Was it just the two of you, or was it
just
more?
Two of us?
That's
we were
awesome.
going up like 8 floors, 4 floors. I don't remember how many floors there were, but it seemed like a long ride. And he was standing closer to the doors, and I was standing like behind him, like to the left. So he was to my right, forward.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at him, going, man, if I just cheap shot him one time, just to see if I could knock him out,
You had a death wish.
Yeah. I was thinking about it. It was funny. I was thinking about it. Anyway, so but this,
you know what that reminds me. If you actually did that, that'd be like when the Romans put you in the bag.
Well, better be. If I did it, I better be on target, man. It better be a good shot. But anyway,
he would have said with that list. Now he can't leave. And push the button on the elevator so it stops.
Yeah, it's funny. And the second time I met him, we actually spoke, and he was cool. But I heard this interview. But what I was going to say was he's very authentic.
Yeah.
So he says what's on his fucking mind, and he doesn't care.
He's been through a lot.
And sometimes
doesn't matter who's there either.
He doesn't give a fuck who it is.
Yeah.
So he gave this interview today. This 13 or 14-year-old little girl, I think she's got a show on TikTok or whatever, a little black girl, and smart as a whip. And she interviewed him, and she asked him some good questions. And she asked him one question at the end about the importance of having a legacy.
Yeah.
And usually when you see an older person be interviewed by a young person or dealt with a younger person, like if a kid's selling a lemonade stand, you kind of, you
encouraging.
You see older people that are a little more condescending to the children and kind of get down their level and try to be sweet, and tell them what they want to hear. Not him. I heard this fucking interview and I almost drove off the fucking road. To me, I mean, because I like mean type of humor, and like dark humor almost. Like, I think it's funny. But I laughed my ass off. I was in tears. And people, if you get a chance,
You gotta watch it.
go out and find it. It's like 1 minute and 17 seconds. In a whole interview is 4 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes. Just watch the last. I think it's 1 minute and 17 seconds, and how the girl reacts is fucking priceless.
Well, she handled herself
did a good
well.
job.
She didn't miss a
She
beat.
did a good job for a young woman.
He didn't say anything she hadn't heard before.
Yeah.
Well, she said that. But
Well, the first thing I thought of is like, who's the father that allows his 13, 14-year-old girl to interview Mike Tyson to be even standing fucking next to him, you know? But
you know what, Tony?
but she held her own. She did good.
You can chalk it up to like grandpa. I mean, he is technically a grandpa.
He's almost 60.
And grandpas get away with saying some crazy stuff.
He's he's getting ready to get in the ring too.
Yeah.
But that set her career off. I mean, that's a good.
No one knew who she was.
Yeah.
Who she was. And the other thing is too, I want to say to the young men out there. I also heard that, and you and I kind of grew up in the '80s. Perms are coming back.
Oh, I read about that.
Did you read about that?
A little bit.
What the fuck?
What's going on with that?
Oh my God. Perm. So my buddy, who you've met, Rafi.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So imagine this. The guy is a tough guy. He's built like a tank. He's a hairy guy, and he's Armenian. And I've known him since I was a little kid. I've known him since I was about 5 years old, 4 or 5 years old, I think. And a man's man, right? I remember once he said to me, "Hey, Tony, can I ride with you? We're going down to Georgetown when I was living on the East Coast." Yeah. Why? What's going on? He knew I was going to Georgetown for something. He wanted to catch a ride. I said, "Oh, what's going on?" He said, "I'm getting my hair done or whatever." I said, "Okay, yeah, sure. Come on down." So I take him down there and I drop him off at the spot. And I look at it and go, "You going to a fucking salon? Why don't you go to a barbershop?" He goes, "No, I'm going to salon. Well, you know, I'm kind of going to do a different style on my hair." I said, "All right." So I drop him off and I drive away and I go do some shit. And I come back and pick him up. And I'm literally parked in front of the place and he's standing in front of the place. Right. And I didn't recognize for like 20 minutes until finally he's like, "Dude, I'm standing right here. Let me in." It was a cold fucking day on the East Coast, you know. I mean, I couldn't stop laughing all the way home, and I felt so bad for him. It was such a big mistake. So I want to tell young guys out there, like, it's a trend. Don't follow it. Trends come and go. Like, stick with old school shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? Go to the store today. Like when the trends are going one direction, you go when they zig, you zag. You know what I mean? So go to the store today. Go to the barbershop. Buy yourself some good old fashioned grease or pomade or gel. Slick your hair back. That style will never go away, you'll stand out. Among all the kids with their fucking perms.
Yeah.
Those stupid haircuts that I see.
Now, or is he?
He doesn't have any hair. His hair is all gone. Probably because of the fucking perm.
Probably.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I see these kids. There are days now that I have a son. There are days I see I'll go to the store and I'll see these young kids, like maybe 8th grade, not 9th grade, with their goofy fucking clothes and their goofy fucking haircuts, and they think it's cool, and it's all because they're following the fucking styles, you know. And I don't know if people hear me. A lot of times I'm so pissed I speak out loud. Like, my son's never doing that shit. I'm gonna show that kid how to dress, how to walk, how to speak, how to fucking just how to be young, classic man. You know?
Absolutely.
So anyway, just wanted to end with that. But
are we forgetting anything?
I think we are. You're Americans, act like it. Thanks, guys. It was good to see you, as always.
Always.
We'll see you next time.
God willing.
Amen.